Tea's too hot. My tea is too hot. I've decided to crack the biscuit tin out because we're about to get down to like a really serious, in-depth discussion. And when you're doing a serious, in-depth discussion, you need biscuits and tea. That's the rules. I don't even know what I've got in here. Can't remember what I bought. Ooh, bourbons. I've got bourbons. Malted milks. Ginger nuts. I love a bourbon. And you know what? I'm dipping it into biscuit flavoured tea, which makes it like just even better, really. Anyway, Dragon Age 4. That's what we're talking about. So I have recently rejoined Twitter. I used to be on Twitter many years ago. I used to do all the socials, and then I came off all of them because they were making me really like depressed and miserable. And since then I have just avoided all forms of social media at all, and I've been a lot happier. But it does mean that I live under something of a digital rock, and I just never hear about anything when anything happens at all. Like, they announced the new Doctor like not too long ago, and I didn't find out until like a week later, and I'm a massive Doctor Who fan, and I didn't know that the new Doctor had been announced. Didn't find out Prince George had been born until 2 weeks after it happened. That's how much of a digital rock I live under. And I was thinking to myself, you know what? There's like probably going to be Dragon Age / Mass Effect news coming out. Yeah, kind of possibly soon, maybe in the nearish future. I should probably have some way of, you know, actually hearing about things. So I rejoined Twitter. But I'm only going on like 10 minutes in the morning and 10 minutes at night, and I refuse to get sucked in any more than that, do you know what I mean? But anyway, lo and behold, 3:30 this morning when I got up to get ready to go to work, they've announced the name and logo of the new Dragon Age game, along with a really cryptic blog post that tells us literally nothing of any interest, and a 20-second video, which is literally just the logo with no sound. And I did see some people saying that there was sound, but as far as I can tell, there's no sound. Hang on a minute, because I tried it on my phone and I tried it on my laptop this morning and I couldn't hear anything at all. But I haven't tried it on my actual computer. So my headphones plugged in. My headphones are plugged in. The sound on the video is on. The sound on the computer is on. Let's have a play of it. Yeah, there's literally no sound. That's fucking weird, isn't it? There's no sound. Volume's on. Is my computer volume on? Yes, just fucking deafened myself. No sound on that video. But it's got a logo. It's quite a nice logo, actually. I haven't actually looked at it properly. Can I get a bigger picture of it? Huh. Yeah, that's a logo. That's a... Yeah, I don't know what more I could say about that, really. It's very purple, which is nice. It's my second favourite colour after that sort of nice bluey turquoisey colour that Magpie's wings are. I don't know what the rings around it are. They don't look like familiar or anything, do they? Sorry, I'm looking around my microphone. I've got my microphone set up there to record my voice because my phone will not record it as well. And it just like, I can't see around it. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what the rings around it are. I'm sure there are probably people doing like massive... what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know, you know, theories about what it is and stuff like that. Yeah, because they've basically told us nothing. They've told us the name, so it's Dragon Age Dreadwolf, which is Dad. That's what it is. And they've given us the logo, and they've given us literally nothing else. Nothing else at all. So all I'm going to be doing is like, you know, theorising about things that might happen in Dragon Age 4 and things I want to happen in Dragon Age 4 and stuff like that. I just, you know... I don't know, I haven't done a video in a long time. And also, I've got 60 subscribers now? Oh, I don't even know. I haven't checked in a while. Let's have a wee look. 60, yeah. We can make this my 60 subscriber special. And I did have a look at like what people are actually watching, and it's the Dragon Age videos. That's what people are watching. So that's what I'm going to do. This was originally going to be a Dragon Age channel. And then I just got distracted and started doing other stuff like I do. But I feel like I want to just do Dragon Age videos. It is a really nice logo now. Do you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me a bit of, oh, what's it called? Infamous. It's got that bit of like neon vibe to it, hasn't it? Anyway, yeah, so this is the blog post that they put out. If I can get out of this flipping whatever it was I was on. There we go. Yeah, it basically tells us naught other than the fact that it's called Dragon Age Dreadwolf, Solus is the Dreadwolf, and Solus is in the game. That's it. We don't even have a protagonist name, do we? Like, you know, in the first game you're the Warden / the hero. The second game you're Hawk / the champion. In the third game you're the Inquisitor / the Herald. No idea what we're going to be in this one. The Spy. That would be good, wouldn't it? I know back in, was it 2020? They put out that trailer that had Varric voicing over it. And I can't remember what he said exactly, but I know he sort of implied that you would be like a normal person. I like the idea that you might be like a sort of, maybe someone who's not on the right side of the law. I mean, there was that, wasn't like the original idea for Dragon Age 4 going to be that you were going to be doing like, you're not going to be like a spy or something into Winter and you would be doing magical heists or something like that. I know it sounded amazing. And then they scrapped that idea and restarted. And I mean, I am not massively clued up on exactly on like all the news and stuff and exactly what's been happening, but I do remember that, yeah, the original idea sounded amazing and then they scrapped it and started again. I thought, you fucking assholes. I've also seen a small amount of speculation over the fact that Dreadwolf is one word on here. Dragon Age Dreadwolf is one word, and yet Solus is the Dreadwolf, 2 words. Suspicious. Maybe we're the Dreadwolf. Maybe that's the twist. Maybe that's your protagonist name. Maybe we're the Dreadwolf. Maybe Solus isn't the only Dreadwolf. Maybe there's 2. I don't know. I feel like I'm going off on one slightly, yeah. But you know, that's me. And they have put a very cryptic sentence at the bottom of their blog that just says, "What do you think #Dreadwolf could mean?" I don't know. I don't think anything. You haven't told me anything. I have nothing on which to speculate. Alright, okay. Here's what I'm going to do. Ginger nuts are the best Dunkin' biscuits, aren't they? They're brilliant because they absorb really nicely, but they keep their crunch. Alright, fuck's sake. What I'm going to do, because I'm an idiot who doesn't know what she's talking about, I'm going to come out of all of this. Rather than this being like a news kind of video where I fill you in on things that I don't know about, I'm just going to like give you a few things that I've always been hoping for ever since Dragon Age 4 was announced. And sort of been thinking about ever since it was announced. And this is a rambling discussion video just about general Dragon Age 4 crap. Sorry, I'm just listening outside. I don't know whether you can hear that, but it's the Queen's Jubilee weekend and there's street parties going on around and about, and I just heard a massive cheer. I don't know whether that picked up with the microphone. It probably didn't. Yes, if you do hear any ambient noise in the background, it's just Jubilee street parties that are going on. So, what do we know? I think we know with a relative amount of certainty that the game is going to be set into Winter, because the end of Trespasser more or less suggested they brought out To Winter Nights, the comic book, which is probably a little prequel thing, and just sort of, I don't know, it's just everybody knows that it's going to be set into Winter. That's just a thing that we know. The original idea was that it was, the first idea that they came up with was set into Winter, so, it just sort of seems reasonable that it will be set into Winter. Protagonist. Now, I've already said we don't know anything about the protagonist. We don't know what they're going to be. We don't know what their protagonist name is going to be. We don't know. We had that little trailer. I'm going to try and find that trailer that they did at E3. I think it was back in 2020. If you put a Dragon Age trailer into YouTube, the first thing that comes up is the trailer for Origins. Actually, no, it's the trailer for Origins Sacred Ashes. I think that is an excellent trailer. I'm just laughing at some of the titles that people put out when they're doing stuff like this, Dragon Age discussion videos. BioWare just got shocking news. No, it didn't. It revealed a logo and a fucking name. That's not shocking news. What the fuck are you talking about? I mean, I know they only do it to, like, get clicks and stuff like that, but it still makes me laugh. There it is, Dragon Age 4 Cinematic Trailer, Game Awards 2020. Just have a little listen to it, because I know he says something about it's time for a new hero, apparently. No magic hand. No ancient prophecy. Did any of them have an ancient prophecy? The kind of person they'll never see coming. think that's it. I think that's it of import. So that's sort of like vaguely suggested it's going to be. Mind you, the Inquisitor doesn't have a magic hand anymore, do they? And I know some people were speculating that the new hero might just be the Inquisitor. I really hope not, because out of the three of them, the Inquisitor's the one I have the least affection for. Anyway, yes, it does very much suggest that, like... Although, I don't know, I mean, what does it suggest? Does it suggest anything? Really? Or is it just more cryptic nonsense to make it sound exciting when really they've got nothing to tell with? I think that's what it is, honestly. So I think you can just say that there's just, like, we don't know anything. We don't know anything about the protagonist at all, really. But I don't know. I tell you what, there is a theme, though, isn't there? That the first game is set in Ferelden. The second game is set in the Free Marches, but the protagonist is from Ferelden. And then the third game is set in Ferelden and Orlais, but the protagonist is from the Free Marches. Which makes you wonder whether the protagonist in... what's it called? Dreadwolf, fuck's sake. Is going to be from Orlais. Or from Ferelden, I suppose, because it's set in Ferelden as well, isn't it? Or maybe you're from the Inquisition. Oh, actually, now that, yes, because now, at the end of Trespasser, they set up like a new team, don't they, with Scout Harding and... who else? Charter? Is that their name? Oh my god, it's been so long since I played Inquisition. This is embarrassing. I'm trying to do a flipping Dragon Age channel and I can't remember anything about Dragon Age. I know they set up a new, like, group, don't they? Is Liliana there? I can't fucking remember. But they set up, like, a new group of advisors and stuff like that. And it's like their goal is to, you know, try to bring down Solus. And Solus is into Winter, I think. Sort of building his elf army or whatever. And that was it. Was that it? Not in the first... in the first idea they had when you were doing the magical heists, were you not meant to be like an agent of the Inquisition? Maybe that's what you're going to be. Maybe you're going to be the agent. Maybe that's what you're going to be. Maybe that's your protagonist name for Dragon Age 4. You see, I've only just come up with all of this. I should do this sort of shit more often. I come up with good ideas when I talk to myself. Alright, so there's a possibility. But, how often do you start off a BioWare game? I suppose they did it with Shepard. Shepard was actually already well established as, you know, a soldier and everything in Mass Effect. But the Dragon Age games, you always start off as a nobody, don't you? And you're just sort of like plucked and become a hero. So maybe you'll be like, I don't know, a criminal or a rogue or a smuggler or a pirate or something like that. And you'll just sort of like end up as an agent for the Inquisition. Maybe one of those things where there's an actual agent for the Inquisition and then they get killed and you happen to be there and then you just sort of end up having to like, pick up the secret letter or something and you end up just completing their quest for them or something like that. Could be something like that, you never know. So that's my ideas for the protagonist. You're either going to be an agent of the Inquisition, some sort of petty criminal, or both. Most likely both, let's face it. I mean, you do always start off a game as a nobody and then you just kind of get plucked and thrown into chaos. Or maybe it's going to be more like a sort of Shepard in Mass Effect thing where you start off as quite a well-established, you know, agent of the Inquisition or whatever, with your goal being to defeat Solus. Which brings me on to my second topic. Who's going to be the main antagonist? Now this is a very, very, very common theme that you see people talk about, where they say that Solus is probably not going to be the main antagonist. And this fits with the sort of theme, because if you go from Dragon Age 2 into Inquisition with no spoilers, like I did, because I was living under a digital rock, I wasn't on Twitter, I didn't know anything about Dragon Age Inquisition, nothing. I didn't know what characters were going to be in it, I had no idea that Varric was coming back, I had no idea that Liliana was going to be in it, didn't know what the plot was, didn't know who the companions were, knew absolutely nothing, went in completely blind. Going from Dragon Age 2 into Inquisition, you would think that the plot would be about the Mage Templar War, because the Mage Templar War has only just kicked off. I hadn't read any of the books either. The sort of prequel books that they did for Inquisition. There was Asunder and the other one. They did 3 actually. There's one that I haven't read yet. Oh my god, what was the other one? There was Asunder that was about Wynn. Oh, Masked Empire, that's the best one. Out of all the Dragon Age books, that's the best one. That's a great book. Yeah, anyway, I'm getting distracted. Yes, so, yeah, if you went from Dragon Age 2 into Inquisition with no spoilers whatsoever, knew nothing about it, you would assume that it was about the Mage Templar War. But it's not about that at all. I mean, it sort of is. But when you join the game, the Mage Templar War has been raging for ages, and it's sort of kind of over. They were, you know, going to the Haven to kind of like negotiate and try and stop the war and all of this kind of stuff. And then all of a sudden there's a giant fucking hole in the sky and there are demons raining down, and that's like what the plot is about. And then Corypheus turns up and suddenly like that's what the plot is about. And the Mage Templar War, while it's kind of like going on in the background and does, you know, I mean, you know, it is a very important part, it's not what the game's about. So it is perfectly reasonable to assume that like Solus is not going to be the main antagonist. In fact, if anything, I'll be disappointed if he is. I think it's far more likely that something bigger and scarier is going to appear. That, like, you know, you probably start off and, like, maybe you're an agent of the Inquisition or something like that, and you're on this assignment, and it's like, oh, we need to bring down Solus, you know, and you're going, I don't know, through back alleys in, what's the capital of Tevinter called again? Is it Minrathus? Is that it? Oh, go back and have a look at my map. I love how there's a place on here that is called Solus as well. Tevinter Imperium. Minrathus, that's it, right up at the top, yeah. Come forward. Yeah, so anyway, you're doing like your assignment for the Inquisition, and then all of a sudden, bam, something bigger and scarier has turned up, and it's like Solus is a secondary thought. And he's sure there, like he's a thing that's happening, but maybe like a worse thing is happening. Maybe there's another Dreadwolf. Maybe he's named after... Oh, hang on now. Because this is a theory that I've had for a very long time. And that is that in this game, the main protagonist is going to be something that comes from the north. I'm going to show you my little map. Okay, so this is our map of Thedas. I'm getting quite excited now talking about my theories. I don't know whether anybody will have stuck with this video long enough to hear them, but I hope at least someone has. Right, so this is our map of Thedas. Right, and up in the north, so you see, right, it only goes to like, it's not the whole planet. Right? And the reason that it's not the whole planet, I don't know why, I don't know what this is. Do you think this is like a forest? And then down here you've got like, that's the Arbor Wilds, that's the big chasm you can go to in Inquisition where like, it was meant to be where the Darkspawn first came out. And they can't get past it. That's uncharted territories, whatever that is, and then that's the Kakari Wilds that apparently people can't get across either. But there is, hidden in the Codex somewhere, I can't remember what game it is or where you find it or what Codex entry it is or whatever, but hidden in the Codex somewhere, there is something referencing the fact that people who go past the edge of the map never come back. Or is there one that's like a ship ventured out and came back and everyone on it was dead, or is that something else? I don't know whether I'm mixing up my video game lore there, but there's like, it's definitely sort of very, very well hidden in the Codex. It's not like a glaring thing, it's very well hidden, but it's sort of suggested that people who go off the edge of the map don't come back. And these are all mountains here, I'm assuming. This bit fascinates me because doesn't that look like a flippin' asteroid has hit or something? That looks like an impact crater. But anyway, we know that humans didn't evolve down here. This was like the elves' territory and the dwarves' territory. And humans came from up north. But we don't know why they came down. That's the thing. Nobody knows where they came from or why. We don't know anything about human origins. And you see, this is fascinating because the humans are way more interesting than the elves are. Because we know nothing about them. We don't know where they came from. We don't know why they came from there. We don't know what kind of life they had. And then, of course, we know that the Canari came south because they were fleeing something, but we don't know what it was they were fleeing. So there's all of these little hints that maybe there's something lurking on the other side of the map, particularly to the north. There's a little bit in Inquisition if you're at the war table and you just stand there for a minute and you leave the game running, and you know how the advisors like talk to each other? Well, there's a little bit where Josephine is just kind of goes, have you ever wondered what's off the edge of the map? And the other two just kind of go, no, not really. I think we've got enough problems to deal with here, or something like that. But I remember the first time I heard that, I thought, I wonder if that is a little hint. I wonder if that's a hint of things to come, because that's the kind of thing that goes on in Dragon Age. I mean, there's a flipping Easter egg in Origins that explains more or less the entire plot for Inquisition. So I would not put it past them for that to have been a little hint about what's coming next. And since the game is probably most likely going to be set in that place, the Divinter Imperium, which is, you know, north, and if there's something terrible in the north, if there's going to be an invasion from the north, they'll get hit first. I would not be in any way surprised if the opening of the game is something invading from the north, and nothing to do with Solus at all. You may even end up flipping teaming up with him, or having the option to team up with him. And it might be only like at the very end of the game that it's like a sort of face-off against Solus himself. And there's the whole sort of like, will you be able to redeem him, or will you have to kill him kind of thing, and there'll probably be a choice. You'll probably get to choose one way or the other whether Solus is redeemed or killed. Or maybe there'll be like a special third option. I don't know what BioWare are planning. I don't know what BioWare are planning. But you see, this is what concerns me, because BioWare isn't BioWare anymore, is it? The BioWare that we talk about, who made Mass Effect and the first Dragon Ages, even the BioWare that made Inquisition doesn't really exist anymore, does it? But we'll get onto that in a moment. Now, looking at this map, you can really tell that the first games were set like in the south, can't you? Because you look at Ferelden in particular, but sort of Orlais as well, and there's quite a lot of like place names and little roads and rivers and stuff like that. I mean, Ferelden's really full and busy, and you've got the Brazilian forest and all of these. You've got Circle Tower, it even, you know, bothers putting the Circle Tower, Lake Calenhad Docks. Puts all of these, got all these wonderful names, and then you go up to like the Anderfells, and there's like 3 places. Tevinter just looks really sparse. And there's Solus there. Don't know whether that'll have any kind of significance. Right, so yes, that was just a little excursion into Thedas there. Just straighten my phone up. That'll do. Bet me tea's gone cold, has it? Sort of lukewarm. Funny thing about this tea. This is Yorkshire tea brought out biscuit flavoured and jam and toast flavoured, and they are both amazing. But it's weird because they actually get nicer as they get colder, which is not what you expect from tea. So yeah, I don't think Solus will be the main antagonist. I would bet. What would I bet? I wouldn't bet my life. I would bet my biscuit tin. My biscuit tin's quite important to me, especially when it's got biscuits in it. I would bet my biscuit tin that there's going to be an invasion from the north, and that there's something nasty is going to come from the north. But what if the thing that comes from the north is the Dreadwolf? What if Solus isn't the Dreadwolf? What if he's called himself the Dreadwolf, but he's not actually the Dreadwolf? What if there's like an actual Dreadwolf? Because humans came south, but that would have been... Would that have been before the Veil? Oh, I don't know. Oh, I don't know. I'm not clued up enough on that part of the lore. Would that have been before or after the Veil was created, that humans came? Because I know the elves blame humans for them losing their magical, immortal powers and all that stuff. But that's not true. It's Solus who did it, because he wanted to bring down the elven gods. Kings, whatever. But had humans already come south by that point? Or was it after the Veil was created? Because if it was after the Veil was created, you see, I don't know. I'm not that clued up on sort of elven parts of the lore. I'm quite clued up on other parts, like to do with magic and stuff like that. The elven stuff all kind of like blends in together. Yes, I don't know. Because if they came south after the Veil was created, maybe the creation of the Veil woke something up. Maybe it created some kind of... I mean, it changed the elves and it changed the dwarves. Probably, because we assume that the dwarves were probably a lot bigger than they are now. So it presumably changed the humans. That's what I want to know. I want to know what the humans were before the Veil. I mean, we know that the elves were these wonderful immortal people. We know that the dwarves... Well, we don't know that the dwarves were, like, bigger, but we think they probably were. And they might have had magic. I know there's like loads of theories about the dwarves, but we know that they were, you know, almost certainly different. But that doesn't follow that humans were different as well? Like, what have humans lost? And the Qunari? I mean, I know there's a theory, isn't there, that the Qunari are actually like... Is it that they're dwarves mixed with dragon blood or something like that, but they didn't like evolve. They were, you know, like created. In which case, maybe they were like a slave race to someone or something like that. If they were created and then they fled, particularly. I'm just going off on rambly nonsense now, but what's new? If the creation of the veil created something, made a monster of something, and there's something in the north, maybe that's the Dreadwolf. I don't know. That would explain why the title is one word and Solus's name is two words. If they're two different things. If Dreadwolf is Solus and Dreadwolf is something else. Were there elves in the north? Maybe there were. Maybe there were maybe there were elves in the north as well as the south. I don't know. I'm going off on one now. But yeah, anyway, that's my theory. My theory is that the start of the game is gonna be just like the start of Inquisition was. The breach has opened, which is not what you're expecting when you go in. I think the start of Dragon Age 4 is going to be an invasion from the north. That is my prediction. I'm probably wrong, but that's my prediction. Which brings us on to the third and final, I promise, thing that I'm talking about, which is like sort of different storylines running through. Because like I say, Inquisition. I'm using Inquisition as a marker because I think it's going to be more like Inquisition than it's going to be like the other two. I think it's going to be a sort of, you know, I think it's going to have an Inquisition-y feel to it more than anything. So Inquisition had several storylines running through it. It had the Major Templar War, it had the fight against Corypheus. Oh, you also had the Civil War in Orlais, didn't you? Well, in this one, we've got the war between Tevinter and the Qunari. So that's one factor. You've got the fight against Solus. You've got possibly another antagonist, is that the right word? That we don't know about yet. A new villain. A new threat. If Solus is the main threat, that's going to be really disappointing, isn't it? It's going to be really disappointing. So yes, the possible new threat. And finally, the Grey Wardens. And that's the one I'm interested in. More than anything. I don't really care that much about Solus and, you know, the truth behind the veil and all of that crap. I care about the Grey Wardens. I want to know what the hell is going on at Weishaupt. Because at the end of... I can't remember if it's the main game or if it's Trespasser. Where, it's the main game, isn't it? When Morrigan does a creepy voiceover at the end. And she mentions about Weishaupt, and Weishaupt has gone silent and nobody... It's Hawk, isn't it? Assuming Hawk is alive. Hawk goes to Weishaupt, or Stroud, or Loghain, or whoever it is, or Alistair, or whoever it is, goes to Weishaupt, and is like never heard from again. And Weishaupt has gone silent, and there's no news coming out of it. And that's just like a totally random thing that is thrown in the epilogue, right at the end. Morrigan's creepy voiceover where she kind of goes, Weishaupt has gone silent or something. I can't remember exactly what she says, but I remember it made my spine go, what's going on at Weishaupt? I want to know. I want to know what's happening with the Grey Wardens. I like the Grey Wardens because the Warden is my favourite protagonist. And my Wardens generally like being Grey Wardens. And it never occurred to me until I started reading fan fiction, and a lot of people seem to play their Wardens as like not wanting to be a Grey Warden, which I suppose makes sense because you're kind of forced into it, aren't you? But my Wardens have always been like proud Grey Wardens. And that bit in Inquisition where you find the letter from the Warden that says that she's looking for a cure for the taint, and I was like, fuck off. My Warden wouldn't be doing that. She wants to be a Grey Warden. Yeah, but anyway, that's another storyline as well, the whole kind of cure for the taint thing that there may or may not be. But I know that BioWare throw a lot of red herrings out there, and I don't know whether it's just because, you know, they probably have like ideas for storylines that then don't work out, so they just sort of get, you know, filed away. Like I know at the end of Dragon Age 2, there's that bit where it's like, we can't find Hawk and we can't find the Warden. And Leliana's like, that can't be a coincidence. Something's happened to the pair of them. Nothing's happened to either of them. Hawk's on the run and the Warden's just gone. Yeah, so they do have a habit of like throwing in these sort of like mysterious, what's going on here kind of things, and then it turns out nothing really. But yeah, I really want to know what's happening at Weishaupt, and I don't really have any theories. I don't know we haven't heard much about the Grey Wardens since the first game. Obviously, they turn up in Inquisition. Yeah, but the Grey Wardens are just very mysterious. And there's the whole thing of maybe they knew about Corypheus. Well, obviously they knew about Corypheus because they imprisoned him, but like maybe they know other things, like they have lots of secrets. Maybe they know more about the Taint and the Darkspawn and the origin of the Blight and all of this kind of stuff. And you just imagine that Weishaupt probably has like... I just imagine it having this library full of secrets. And I want answers about the Blight and like where it all comes from and that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'm more excited about that than I am about Solus. But those are our 4 probable storylines. We've got the fight against Solus, we've got the Grey Wardens at Weishaupt, we've got the war between the Canary and Tevinter, and then we've got a mysterious 4th threat / antagonist, which is probably almost certainly going to be there. Better fucking be, otherwise I'll be really annoyed. So yeah, that's it. I don't have any particular theories about Solus. I find Solus a very uninteresting character. I know that's like sacrilege, but I remember the first time I played Inquisition, and actually this was quite good because I didn't suspect him for a second. Nothing. I didn't suspect anything, and I think he stuck with me for like the first few missions until I got more interesting people, and then he just like stayed in the corner, and I just like kept forgetting to even speak to him, and then at the end when it's like Solus has vanished, and I'm like, who's Solus? I was like, oh, Solus has vanished, does he? So like, I didn't really think anything of it, and then I played Trespasser, and I just honestly forgot he existed. Completely forgot he existed, and then he turns up in his big sort of villain moment, and it's like, it's Solus, and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember you. What's his name? Yeah, the elf who used to like stand in the corner, who I never spoke to. And I just love the fact that they've made this really, like, I mean, there's just nothing about him at all. I know some people really like him. I do know that, but for me, he's just so nothing, and that's kind of genius when it sort of turns out that he's like Satan, more or less. He's like the closest equivalent that Thedas has. He's also the closest equivalent that Thedas has to the Maker, when you think about it, because he did actually literally create the world as it is. I know he hates it and he wants to destroy it again, but he is actually the Maker, when you think about it, if there is such a thing, because he did make the world as it is. So there's a thought for you. But yeah, and even now when I play, even though I know who he is, I still just forget about him. I just forget he's there. Half the time I don't even do his main quest. He's like the Sten of Inquisition. That's what he is to me. I just forget he exists. And I'm like, and I get to the end of the game and I'm like, oh, did I even do Solus's quest or anything? I just forget about him completely. I mean, I have done playthroughs where I sort of properly focus on him and make sure I talk to him and stuff like that, what with, you know, how important he ends up being. So I've had all the conversations with him and everything, but I mean, unless I'm really thinking about it, and it's like the whole purpose of the playthrough, I just forget he's there. But so yeah, I don't really have any particular theories about Solus himself. And like I say, I'm not that clued up on the whole elven side of the lore. One final little thing is whether I think the game's going to be good or not. And all I'm going to say is this. BioWare is not the same company it used to be. It is a completely different company under the same name. I don't know if they even have... Do they have anybody who was involved in developing the original games? I don't know whether they do. I mean, I'm not really massively keeping up on that side of the news. I'm not always that interested in like who the developers are and who the writers are and things like that. I'm not really... When you look at the games that they've brought out in recent years, Mass Effect Andromeda is not a bad game. The fact that they released it full of glitches and bugs was shocking, to say the least. I expected better from BioWare. I also expected better from Project Red, but there we go. Sometimes people let you down. But it gave it a really bad name. And I played it pre-patch. I played it at release. And post-patch. And I mean, it wasn't unplayable even at release. But the fact that it was released in that state was... I couldn't believe it, actually. But those were more innocent times. Since then, games have been released in far worse state than that. But once it was patched, it's not a bad game at all. It lacks magic. But I've played it about 3 times and I've enjoyed it. I enjoy playing it. It's a good game. As a game, it's good. It's solid. It's a solid, good game. As a story-driven RPG. It has moments of brilliance. It has moments that genuinely got to me. It didn't like make me cry. It didn't stay with me in the way that like Dragon Age and Mass Effect, like the original Mass Effect trilogy do. And there are certain things like I say, I've played it 3 times, I think. I couldn't tell you the names of any of the planets. I couldn't even tell you much about the main storyline. I can't remember who the villain was. Or like what he was called. Did he have a name? The weird guy. I can't remember. Yeah, so it certainly didn't stay with me. It didn't get into my soul and stay with me. But then again, neither did Mass Effect 1 the first time I played it, and Andromeda was meant to be the first of a trilogy, I believe. They never ended up happening because it got such a bad reception. But Mass Effect 1, when I played it the first time, it didn't get into my heart. Might be different for other people, but it was once I'd played the second game and the third game and then went back, and I was already really invested in the world. But I mean, I struggled to get into Mass Effect 1 the first time I played it. I struggled to get into Origins the first time I played it. The first game in a trilogy is always going to struggle. So Mass Effect Andromeda does not deserve the flack that it gets. I think the fact that it was released unfinished was a massive shame, and it massively affected, because of course people were just laughing at it, weren't they? And it meant that a lot of people just didn't even buy it at all, and even now it still has a bad reputation when it's actually a good game. And like I say, it didn't get into my heart, but it might have done had it gone on to have a full trilogy. I don't know. So it's not a bad game. Anthem I can't comment on because I've never played it. But it's a multiplayer game, and it's an online multiplayer game, and I'm just kind of not into that sort of stuff. Dragon Age 4 is not going to have any online multiplayer content, as far as I'm aware. I believe that's been officially announced, that they're taking out all live service stuff, which is good. It shows that they understand what Dragon Age fans want. So that's good. There are red flags in the fact that they had an idea and they scrapped it. I think they've changed teams as the team itself changed. The long development time. When you look at games that were just awful, like, I mean, just the kind that have like 3-hour-long YouTube videos made about them just to explain how bad they were. Those kind of games. There's a common theme of long development time going through different development teams. Different ideas getting constantly scrapped and, rehashed and scrapped and rehashed, and game takes 10 years to come out, and when it does, it's a half-finished mess. So that worries me. But I'm not really worried. I know people say they'd rather wait longer for a good game than have it be rushed and come out, and I'd happily wait 10 years for a game that's going to be good. And I agree, I'd happily wait 10 years for Dragon Age 4 if it is epic and amazing. But games that have long development times don't have a good track record of coming out and being brilliant, do they? So yeah, I would say I'm slightly worried, but I'm not like massively worried. I'm slightly worried, but I have faith. So, my tea has now gone stone cold. Absolutely stone cold, but it means you can taste the biscuit flavour better. So that's kind of nice. Anyway, I'm going to go, because I don't even know how long I've been talking. I've got 23 minutes on this particular video file, but it cuts off at, can't remember what it cuts off at, and starts a new one, so. I've been talking a while. There will be more Dragon Age videos. The Dragon Age project is still ongoing. I am actually doing it. I just haven't uploaded anything in a while, but I've got some gameplay videos that I've recorded recently, which are going up whenever I get around to editing them. And look forward to more videos like this, where I ramble about Dragon Age related things, drink tea and eat biscuits. Cold tea. Right, I'm going. Bye.